and thanks for being here. Um, okay, let's dive in. A date that we all remember. The fact that you are sitting here and watching this, maybe now or later, is proof that you have survived this date. What is it? Also, this is going to be a dialogue, not going to be a monologue. We can't film it, but we can try to be as uh, engaging as possible. Any ideas what happened on this date? So Janta Curfew slightly earlier. This is when India announced a full lockdown. That was like a trial, and this is when a full lockdown was announced in the wake of the COVID pandemic. And it's on this date that I thought. I mean, news was grim, if not grimmer. And I thought, why don't we start traveling to a different place every day? I obviously could not break COVID rules, so I started to do that traveling using sketches and using artwork. And that's the first sketch that I draw, which is right there. Uh, I hate it right now because it's evolved. And initially, when the curfew was announced, when the lockdown was announced, it was for 21 days. So I thought, let me put it up on Instagram because Instagram gives you a row of three, and I can complete a WebGeor in 21 days. And sure, I did 21 days. And as we see it today, it looks something like this. This is about one fourth of the entire collection. I would have to have three more screens to display everything at this scale. But let's move on because in this entire collection we have, and this is something that I called Atlas Keeda. It is an ongoing thing. It started on the day India announced a lockdown and continues till this date. We have paid tribute to some amazing people. No prizes for guessing. That's Sharapova in the on the right side. If you haven't figured, uh, of course, people from our own city as well. Uh, Hit some nostalgic notes, cartoons that we saw in our childhood, and maybe devices or phone booths that we have seen and now are missing. Try to reimagine some brands. That's Nat Geo, our version of Nat Geo. And Nike, before it being called so, was actually called as Blue Ribbon Sports. So we try to reimagine the brand of how it would have been like. Of course, looked at some of the most iconic places in the world, and also some obscure things like Metallica playing in Antarctica, uh, and the fact that 8th of August is called as World Medu Vada Day because it looks like 8/8. So, and of course, look at some of the most memorable events in our time as well. Stuff that we will remember, like the launch of Chandrayaan 3, or some events which are not as happy, like the Titanic sinking, and something as fun as the Met Gala, which is our version of it. Of course, sports events do leave a mark on my mind. So when Neeraj Chopra struck gold, that's the event that we covered. He literally struck gold. Uh, and Gukesh very, very recently winning the candidates, which was just about 2 weeks ago. And coming to very, very recent, this is this week itself, when Mumbai was hit by a dust storm. And that was our version of the dust storm hitting the city. It's literally the entire map covered in dust. And all of this, like the few images, the few artworks that you've seen now, is 1.18% of the entire collection. Because today it stands at day 1516, that is 1516 artworks. This includes Sundays, it includes holidays, it includes days that the team has been sick, but the post has always gone out. And that's something I'm very, very proud of, for not just doing it, but for the entire team who makes this happen. Uh, and Atlas Kida can't have stories which are not mapped. So that's how our map of the country looks like. It's celebrating the stories of India and the world. And this is our map of India. There are a lot of stories that are still to be mapped. This is from, I think, March this year, and there are still more stories that gets added onto it. And the world that looks like this. Now, my personal problem with this map is that there is a lot of empty space, and a lot more stories exist there. We are just not aware of it, and we would love to do them, love to cover these stories, and it will take a lot more than a few people to make this happen. And the few people who have made this happen and contributed at various times are the ones here, and I'm very, very thankful that it's because of them that this exists, and I would say this gives the drive to go ahead, and not because so many people have contributed. So I feel guilty of missing out on a day. But I started with a date, which is 25th of March. I thought I should also conclude with a date, which is 18th of May 1974. That's exactly 50 years ago from today. Any guesses about what happened on this date? Okay, let me give you a hint. It's in this picture. So, 18th of May 1974 is when India launched the first or conducted this first successful nuclear explosion at Pokhran. This is 24 years before the movie Parmanu ke events. And that is the event that we are talking about today. I won't dwell much on it. It's fairly well recorded in history as well. But I do have a postcard for all of you sitting right outside about this particular event, which you can pick up on the way back. And with this, I conclude uh, a journey which actually started on the pandemic, continues till date, uh, but exists because I thought to actually make one drawing every single day. And I have the first drawing right here. The entire collection sits in about 40 sketchbooks in my studio. Can't bring them all here, sorry. But yes, happy to talk more on this in case anybody feels that this story needs more people. It needs web developers, it needs a lot more people to tell these stories effectively and visually. Thank you.